Trust in the media has been falling for years, but is that a failure of the public or a response to how media now operates? When people disengage from news, are they becoming less informed or reacting rationally? Trust has declined over the last few decades in media. The media landscape's changed dramatically. 24-hour news cycles, social media amplification, and increasing competition for attention have drowned out 24-hour news channels playing the same news again and again and again, or going and asking random people who know nothing about the subject what they think, and picking someone who sounds a bit outrageous or shocked. Social media shows people the shock because there's no point in showing nuance. That's too boring and it's not quick enough to get the clicks. We live in a attention market. Attention leads to revenue. Whether from advertising, subscriptions or clicks, it all depends on engagement, and engagement is driven by emotion, outrage, fear and conflict. Creates a structural incentive to prioritise stories that provoke strong reactions. Maybe this goes through to some of the editorial process. And then stories don't match your desired story, you just don't cover them. The 24-hour news cycle rewards speed. Being first can matter more than being fully accurate. And there are so many channels with talking heads who don't know anything talking about a subject. Just watch when there's a plane crash and see the utter nonsense that's talked. As people have become more and more disenchanted with the traditional political parties, the media still rely on access to those political parties, to the politicians, the institutions and the official sources. Maintaining access can sometimes discourage overly adversarial reporting. You might not get invited. Just ask a lot of the White House correspondents. They criticise Trump and they find they're not there. Oh, criticise Labour and you find you don't get called to ask questions. I mean, GB News is basically the biggest news channel in the UK now. How often do they get to speak to a government minister? It's always junior ministers. And again, there's fragmentation. Take GB News again. People on the right watch GB News. People who don't know what the news is watch the BBC. People on the left, I guess, watch Sky. It's the only one left. I'm sure they don't watch GB News. Well, then you get told in an echo chamber what you want to hear. And then there's accountability. BBC has a long list of failures, but they're never held accountable for it. We have to keep paying for them regardless. Every so often there's a story of some crazy news scheme for ways in which people who don't watch the channel should be charged for it. It's important to recognise that declining trust isn't always a sign of rational evaluation. Misinformation, conspiracy thinking and political polarisation, yes, they play a role. In some cases, distrust is actively encouraged because it benefits those who want to undermine shared facts or avoid scrutiny. But despite criticism, I'm sure that many journalists operate with professionalism, that they verify their sources, and they have a genuine commitment to accuracy. But they so often seem to fall short. It's a more complex interaction between changing incentives and changing expectations. And trust in media does appear to be declining. Might be random, might be emotional, might reflect a rational response, might be that not all distrust is justified. But it does seem time for the mainstream media to rebuild trust, not just correct facts now and again. They need to address the structures that shape how information is produced and delivered. Without restoring trust, in the long run, the mainstream media is going to go the same way as Sky News' TV channel is going. A slow death and a scheduled closure. And then who will be the person that we all turn to for the news? Some random YouTuber?